time we talked, and this is crazy because I had this thought last night. I was like, where was I 3-4 years ago, and am I where I thought I was going to be? And the answer to that is no, I'm not where I thought I was going to be. Like, I've completely surprised myself. But where I was when we last did a podcast episode, I could honestly say at that point I was like finding myself, and I thought at that point I had completely figured it out. I was like, I understand happiness. I know how to manifest everything. Like, I know I thought by now I'd be on a movie with The Rock and we'd be best friends. Like, I really thought I had it all figured out. I had this clear vision for what I wanted, and I was single. I wasn't in a relationship. And then I think I actually ended up meeting my boyfriend a couple weeks after that, but I was in full receiving mode. I was in total alignment at that point. Felt like I was at the pinnacle of my happiness. And then I met my boyfriend, and
everything went to shambles. No, I'm just kidding.
No, my life has surprised me, and but my life was totally different then, because I was, I guess, like I was stepping into my power at that point. Like, that was the beginning of me, like, knowing that I wanted to, like, have a big impact, I guess. And so it's interesting because you were doing that too. Like, you were just starting your podcast. And so I was kind of like, I wasn't just starting my acting career, but I was really stepping into my power and, like, at a point where I could confidently say, like, yes, I'm an actress, or yes, I'm an artist, or yes, I do this, whatever. And yeah, it's crazy because now I have my own business. And
yeah, tell us about Power Femme.
Yeah, Power Femme Fitness. So Power Femme Fitness is basically a tribe of women who are like-minded, and pretty much it's fitness, obviously, but it's so much more than fitness. And it's not necessarily that, like, I want to be the best fitness coach out there. Like, that's not my goal. And it wasn't even, like, Power Femme Fitness was never even a vision for myself. But it kind of just happened because I was very passionate about working out. And, I was like not going to talk about this, or I wasn't not going to talk about this, but I decided, like, on the way here that I was like, okay, I'm at a place where I can be open and be vulnerable about this. So I remember the last
I'm like, what is she about to admit to us right now? It's like confessional or some shit.
No, it's just
kidding.
a part of my story. Like, yeah. I remember, like, our last the last episode we filmed, like, literally I dropped a mic at the end of the episode. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
We were talking about, like...
Oh, yeah. I totally remember. And it was like, and we had gone for so long that we couldn't really address it.
Yeah, it was like time to end the podcast. And
yeah,
I was like, oh,
wow,
by the way.
I just remembered that, yeah.
So the thing is that I was raped. And I'm at a point now, like, that was so fresh and a really dark time in my life. And, like, luckily I had, like, friends and family, like, who were able to, like, help me through that time. But I remember feeling so alone and so weak. And a huge lesson that I learned, and not even like lesson, but I feel like the purpose of it was to teach women to speak up for themselves and to, like, help them feel empowered and, like, step into your power. And I mean, I felt like all kinds of weak and depressed and sad and angry, and then it turned into, like, appreciation and forgiveness and, like, having to find myself and trust myself. And I don't know, like, that was the beginning of, like, me standing my ground, being confident, like, and just, like, learning to speak up for myself, kind of. Okay. And it's like a weird, hard topic to talk about, like, even now. And it's like, without getting too far into it, it was a lot. And I honestly feel like I do believe everything happens for a reason. Did I deserve that? No. Have I forgiven him? Yeah, maybe not fully.
Forgiveness is a weird word, because it's like, because I was listening to a podcast recently where they were talking about that, or I think it was Charlemagne the God, because he was like, I don't forgive anybody, fuck them or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times forgiveness isn't necessarily you saying I forgive you for this thing and it's fine, because it's not really fine, but it's almost it's like more for yourself than for that person.
Yeah.
It's more like going through that healing process and then like shedding it and being like, you know what, it's done, and like you said, it all happens for a reason. And like you said, it taught you lessons. Obviously, like no one wishes that upon anybody,
right.
But yeah, it's a weird thing. Like you said, forgiveness is kind of a strange thing.
Yeah, it's totally weird. And I like had a breakthrough moment at Tony Robbins. I went to a Tony Robbins event, and I just saw, like, he takes you through this process called the Dickens process. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, where basically, I don't know like all the psychology behind it, but basically he takes you through this process where you like close your eyes and he gets you in state, like a peak state, pretty much, where you visualize like how amazing your life is, but then he takes you like the totally opposite direction. It's like everything that you've been keeping down and you haven't been sharing with the world, like your deepest, darkest secrets, like things that you haven't opened up about, things that you haven't addressed in your life, people you haven't forgiven, all these things have like turned inside of you and they've made you this like awful person, and like
kind of bitter.
You're bitter and you're mad at the world, and you're, you know, it's like you haven't dealt with things, and it's like your eyes are closed, and like there's thousands of people in this room, and you just hear people crying, and like, and then he's like, you know, I want you to see yourself 5 years from now, and you still haven't addressed this thing, and like it just gets heightened, and then it's like 5 years from now you see yourself and you just look like shit, you know, like you're looking in the mirror, and it's like I have not lived my life because I haven't forgiven these people, or I haven't done this, or I let this stop me, right? And then he takes it 10 years, and then he takes it another 10 years, and another, like, literally, and I saw myself, like, 50, 60, 70 years old. I saw all of it, the progression, it was awful, it was like, and then I, like, because I know, I have a, like, deep inner knowing that I'm gonna leave an impact on the world. I just want to do that. I feel like anybody can leave an impact, like, in any way, okay? So if I can change any one person's life, like, then I think that I could die happy and, like, be, like, successful, right? So, but then I, like, when I was in that place and I was seeing myself, and I was looking in the mirror, I was wrinkled, I was old, I was angry, I was sad, my kids, like, didn't love me, they weren't there to, like, spend time with me, you know, and, like, that's it, that was, like, just, it turned into this huge fear, and then I saw all the little girls who have experienced like some type of sexual trauma or any type of abuse, okay? And I saw all of them, all of the ones who didn't stand up for themselves, who didn't come out and say, hey, this happened to me, then it happened again, and then I just felt like all this guilt. Like, it was insane, the amount of guilt that I felt, and I was, people are crying, like, you hear people like screaming, crying. I was a mess in this process. And then he takes you through, like, and then he takes you back, and then it's like you fast forward and you have addressed all these things, and it's like I just saw myself like leaving a very big impact, and like speaking up for myself and owning my truth, and like knowing that everything does happen for a reason. And like, I believe in God, I'm a believer for sure, and like I believe that like you don't get led into situations in life that you can't handle. And I, you know, like, even though I didn't understand it at the time, like, and didn't think I could handle any of it, like, I somehow was able to handle it, you know? And
you're here.
And that, yeah, exactly. I'm here, I'm alive, and I'm well. I'm doing amazing. And like that, like, somebody will listen to this, and then they will maybe feel like, okay, I can open up about this, because it's like there's so much guilt and shame that goes with it that you don't want to talk about it. You think people are going to look at you a certain way. People are going to think, oh, like, I don't know, just like getting technical with it and like reliving it is just awful. And like, you know, people are afraid of being judged at the end of the day. And I think that when people can kind of be vulnerable and grow from their experience and then share that, it could literally save somebody's life. So that was like a huge tangent, but it was a huge part in why I kind of got into fitness, and why because I just wanted to feel strong, and then why I wanted to help other women like do that, you know, and find their strength. And when I was working out, like when I had just started, it's crazy to see the transformation over the few years that I've been doing this. And And like there weren't a lot of women in the gym, you know what I mean? And like now it's almost like a fad, like, right? Like people are like, there are so many strong women out there, and it's like, what a time to be a woman. Like it's crazy. The energy of the universe is like very strongly feminine right now. And it's just, it's incredible, you know?
Yeah.
But you know, I got the idea for Power Femme Fitness because I had so many people just like asking me for advice, honestly, and like asking me for help, and
they saw your results and all that.
They saw my results and all that, and so then it came time to like kind of, I guess I was like, this is like a business kind of, you know, and like I could work for myself and I can make an impact this way. And so then I was like, okay, I'll like start my own little like fitness business, and then it came time to like name it. And, you know, at first it wasn't Power Femme Fitness. I don't even know what it was called. I think I called it like Heidi Scope or something like that. It was like horoscope, but Heidi Scope. And because I wanted to mainly like focus on kind of like life coaching and stuff. And that's still something I really do focus on with my clients. And I work with like life coaches too myself. But it became Power Femme Fitness because when I was in high school, my best friend Waverly and I, we were like, we want to start our own all-women feminine or female production company, and we'll call it Power Femme Productions. And I held on to that. Like I literally had on my wall Power Femme Productions, and you know, it was my vision, like that's what I want to do. But then like fitness fell into my lap, and then I was literally looking at my vision board one day and I was like, Power Femme Fitness. Power Femme Fitness.